What's up guys, Josiah LaRue here. So today we're going to be talking about some of the latest news and technology. So yeah, today we're going to be talking about a brand new laptop from MSI, some cool YouTube news, and finally a very interesting computer from HP. Let's go! So in our first bit of news, we're going to be talking about the new laptop from MSI called the MSI GT80. Now this laptop has just kind of been leaked and not officially announced, but I just kind of want to talk about it because it's actually very interesting. What MSI did is pretty astounding. They took an entire Cherry MX brown keyboard, minus the 10 keys, so just the regular keyboard, and put it into a laptop. That's right, the full entire physical Cherry MX mechanical switches in a keyboard, not just those little, flat keyboards you normally have in a laptop, or not even really the gaming style like SteelSeries keyboards that MSI used to be using. Full-size Cherry MX switches in an actual laptop with an 18-inch display. This is phenomenal. I'm actually very interested to get my hands on these. Browns are more quiet of the switches, but they're still the physical click-click switches. I mean, you can actually type like on a full mechanical keyboard, but it's on a laptop. Another interesting thing is that they didn't put it up toward the top so that you normally have a wrist rest. They put it at the bottom, so the end of the space bar pretty much rounds out where the end of the laptop is. So there's actually like 4 to 5 inches of in between the top of the keyboard and the screen where it's just blank space. So I'm not really sure what MSI is going to do there. Very interesting design, but that's really actually kind of cool. Then over to the right hand side of the keyboard, they have the trackpad / number pad. So you just tap on where the trackpad is and you can toggle it in between actually using it to move or using it to type the numbers. So kind of an interesting design. It'd be cool if they could move the Cherry MX switches up to the top and have it a more traditional layout of a laptop, but still the ability to have a full actual mechanical key switches on a laptop on a giant 18-inch gaming display, pretty dang awesome. I'm very interested to see what else they release with this laptop. And next we're going to talk about YouTube and 60 frames per second. Now YouTube had talked about a whole lot of different things at a press conference a couple months ago, including premium channels where you have to pay or subscribe to them, kind of like Twitch, things like a tip jar, which I think is actually useful and someone could actually use, and 60 frames per second on YouTube videos. Well, they finally delivered on one of these in a meaningful way, 60 FPS. Yes, a couple days ago they released 60 FPS videos that you can watch on YouTube. So providing you have a screen that can play, a 1080p screen that can display 60 frames per second, and internet speed that can handle this, and a content provider who will upload an original 60 frames per second video, you can now enjoy 60 frames per second content. I see this best for game players and the gaming community on YouTube. 60 frames per second is excellent, absolutely amazing for video content in gameplay, because 60 frames per second is the buttery smoothness that every PC gamer really wants to see and every console gamer wishes they could play at. But anyways, so yeah, now you can do 60 FPS. In fact, you can check out a couple videos of 60 FPS right here. So I'm actually pretty enthused about this. As a gamer and someone who wants to be uploading more on YouTube of my gameplay, this is really cool. It does, however, have some certain drawbacks. Recording and compressing, editing all in 60 frames per second, huge files. So unless you have a good solid internet for the content providers, I mean, you have to have a beefy internet to upload a 60 frame per second file, because that's going to double your entire file size. And for the content viewers playing it down, it's also going to be pretty massive. But you just need to have Chrome and then display it in full HD, 60 FPS, 1080p, and you can have your 60 FPS wonder. Very, very cool. And finally, we're going to be talking about the HP Sprout. Now, this is a computer that's going to be coming pretty soon from HP, and the concept is actually very innovative. So what it is a 21-inch all-in-one style display, but on top of that is looks kind of like a big fat webcam, but it actually faces down. And what it is a 3D scanner and projector. Because what they are doing is they are projecting down on a 20-inch soft touch capacitive panel below you is your keyboard, your mouse, or videos, pictures, or anything. What this workstation is really designed for is content creators. A very fascinating and what I think very innovative feature is that you can put a physical 3D object on that 20-inch display, push the scan button, and the 3D scanner from up above will physically scan that and create a 3D rendered file inside the computer. Then you can use your fingers, a pen, or whatever to manipulate that file. You can use your fingers to sort through photos or edit videos or whatever. What this computer is designed for is you to start going away from keyboard or mouse and just use your fingers. You can type on the soft touch display for your keyboard. There's a physical button on the pedestal that'll bring up the keyboard on the screen, and then you can just start typing. There's a button that'll bring up a keyboard, and you can like type as you're playing the piano. Just a lot of really cool features here, and I think it's really innovative. I think that Leap Motion was the first one to do this with their little display bar that it'll read your fingertips and you can manipulate stuff. But this, I believe, is the way of the future. I think that we're going to be definitely phasing away from physical keyboard and mice and simply having things that will track our fingers. Now, you'll definitely want something either like a Cherry MX switch if you're gaming, or something that you can physically feel, or something soft touch, because just plunking against a hard desk is not very comfortable. But I think it's the way of the future. Being able to just track our hands instead of us having to actually move physical devices or actually plunk down on keyboards is the way of the future. It won't replace anything if you're doing heavy data input. I still think people will like the old style, or in a few years, maybe old style keyboards, even with these new mechanical switches. But I still think this is very innovative and very cool. The fact that you can just put a physical object underneath the camera and it scans it in, and then you could use something like Photoshop or a CAD software to edit that 3D shape that you just scanned in, saves developers a lot of time and energy if they can scan in like a small model of it and then scale it up and then export it as a full 3D thing instead of having to individually build it in a CAD software, for one example. Very, very cool. For the general consumer, probably not going to be the best, but for content creators or people who are just looking to get into 3D animation or just looking for a really interesting idea and a really cool computer, I think the HP Sprout is definitely something that they should check out. More information in the links down below. So you guys, that's some of the latest news and technology. So let me know in the comment box down below, what do you think of a gaming laptop, or just a laptop in general, having full Cherry MX switches or full mechanical switches, not just like the regular keyboards that you find in laptops? Would you buy one like that, even one with this weird layout? Also, what about HP's new Sprout? What do you think about a computer that can 3D scan in an object, or that you just type on a screen instead of actually typing on a physical keyboard or mouse or whatever? Let me know in the comment box down below. As always, guys, thanks for watching. If you want to check out last week's episode, you can do that here, and if you want to read what I talked about, you can do that right here. Remember to hit that like and subscribe button down below, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace!